The history major is designed at Ferris is to give a student a very complete view of the world. We have courses that are required in American history, we have world history courses, and we cover the globe.
It's really about training you to become a historian, how to write like a historian, how to think like one, how to read like one. How to make a historical argument is a big part of what we do here at Ferris.
The history major is to prepare students to, obviously they take history classes to learn a great deal about history and learn about the discipline of history and what we do in the discipline, how we know what we know about what's happened in the past, how we research. All of those things are part of the component of history, students who take history.
We all use different kinds of techniques in the classroom. Some of us use lectures with questions and some discussion. Others do a great deal of discussion and group work. I think most of us probably have some kind of combination of discussions and group work and lectures, and some of us more heavily into the lecturing than anything else.
One semester you might be studying 20th century China, and then the other semester you might be studying Roman antiquity. The classes are mostly lecture, and if you don't mind some kind of debate that you can, because most of the professors here at Ferris are open to different ideas, or at least questioning why this happened, or who did this, and why did they do this.
I sort of just fell into history, sort of. I started off in a variety of different majors. I started with a criminal justice major, a psychology major, and basically I just liked the history part of those courses. I liked seeing how criminal law has changed over time, so I thought criminal justice would be fun, but obviously I was more interested in the history and how it has changed.
No, I don't think history will ever be irrelevant, because as things continue to change, we can still draw from history the important lessons and what worked, what didn't work, what needs to change if a certain situation arises, or how we as a society or we as a culture can deal with certain things.
It's always important because it gives us so many things. Besides the fact of the ability to think critically and analytically, it also tells us where we came from, why we are who we are, why we are the way we are, why we do what we do, not only in our own country or in our own state or in our own town, but certainly around the world, in continents, but also throughout the world.
If we simply do not understand our past, we have no clue about what solutions we can have to current problems. We can look to the past and find ways to deal with issues, because I know all of us in our classes, we're always trying to make connections between what's happened in the past and what's going on now.
The reason I chose history is because it's really the only subject that has ever held a constant fascination with me. Basically is a means to an end for me also. Is I really like doing it, and I want to study it, or at least have a background in it.
That history is really the basis of so many other disciplines, because in order to be able to teach math, you really need to know a little bit about math. To know about psychology, you need to know the history of psychology. Political science certainly goes well with history as well, and so I think it's sort of the basis of a lot of other disciplines.
It's always been my passion, something I've always loved, and it's been something that since I was little I've always enjoyed going and experiencing history, whether it's going out east to go see Civil War battlefields, or in Michigan, the various things around here. There's a lot of history, and it's all around us, and I've always been curious as to why things are what they are now.
I think history gives you a good background as to why society or societies all over the world have changed. You can learn about differences in the Middle East, differences in Europe, why areas seem, I guess, segregated maybe, but why everything is the way it is, I guess, is why I like to study history.
And as they say, if you don't understand the past, you can't understand where you are now. You can't understand us as a nation, and you don't understand us in terms of our place in the world. And I think that's important for us.
It is the prerequisite for anything, really. Everything has its own history, but again, that doesn't make history important just because everything has it. Rather, without history, the importance of things wouldn't be realized.
History major is a very versatile one. I think quite often people think that all you can do with history is to teach, and that's really far from the truth. There's just so many different things you can do with history. And in fact, if with a history degree, you don't even need to go into a field that's even related to that.
You can go into archives, you can be a history teacher, museum studies, you can work in a museum, librarians.
You can go in the pre-law, you can go in international affairs, or you can pursue a career in history and become an archivist. You can go into anthropology, you can go into archaeology.
You'll get jobs in the National Park Service, working at historical monuments, stuff like that. And also the federal government hires a lot of historians to be historians.
I think there are a variety of things that history majors can do.
But just seeing where we've been and how far we've come in certain areas, and then seeing how almost it relates to today's society, how certain issues today, nothing really is new in today's society. Everything's sort of been done before, it's just little things have changed. So I think that's what makes history special, is it's always around and it's never ending.
Each of us will have his or her own interpretation of the past. And so there's a great deal of variety in how we view the past. And I think that's, to me, is one of the exciting things about it, is learning what other people, how they view the past, as opposed to how I view it. And that, I think, is exciting.